the first pick.
Hey everyone, Conor Dorney here with Just Baseball, live at the 2025 MLB Draft Combine in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm joined right now by right-hand pitcher Mason Estrada from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Mason, thanks so much for joining me today.
Of course, yeah, no problem. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so how has the Combine experience been for you so far? Is it kind of what you expected or a little bit different?
I mean, it's been really nice. I didn't really have too many expectations, but the hotel room's super cool. Food's been great. It's been good to come out here and throw on a big league field. Been good. Enjoyed it so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for some of our viewers that might not be familiar with your game, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, so I played high school ball at Covington High School in Louisiana. Low 90s fastball there senior year, but not a lot of interest for many schools that I was interested in. So ended up going to MIT, great school. It's been an amazing experience there so far. Very challenging academically, as expected, but it's been difficult to focus on baseball and everything with it. But I've enjoyed my time there so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Now speaking of MIT, I relate myself to you going to a rigorous academic institution. Myself, a graduate of Arizona State University, the MIT of Tempe, Arizona, if you will.
Yeah.
That is a super fascinating element of it. How has it been? How difficult has it been to, like you mentioned, balance the academic side of it with the baseball side?
It's been very difficult. MIT is a D3, so resources on the athletic side are not at the same level as larger D1 schools. Our team did a lot with what we had. Our coaches did a good job making sure we got our work in and giving us opportunity to get extra work in, and just kind of being available. But there's only so much you can do with the resources you have. And then on top of that, of course, you have the school element, and there's not really any exceptions for athletics. And you're there, you're an MIT student first and foremost, and I think that's an amazing thing about the school. But it definitely took its toll on me while I was attending. My freshman year I hurt myself, so I wasn't playing. So it was definitely a little bit lighter because I didn't have the commitment on the baseball side that I would have if I was pitching in games. I was able to miss a game if I needed to for an exam or to study and such. But sophomore year is academically a harder year than my freshman year was. Studying aerospace engineering, so I was taking thermodynamics and fluid dynamics, which are two of the harder classes that are mandated for a major. That you can definitely load your course load with harder classes, but taking them both at the same time is definitely rough. But I had a good support group. I had friends that would help me when I needed help, and my coaches were understanding and everything with my schedule and stuff. So it was manageable, but it's definitely difficult. Doing homework at 1 a.m. and then having to get up early the next morning to go to a game was not the most fun experience.
Yeah, I can imagine that for sure. So, I mean, obviously, the type of, things you're, studying off the field. Nowadays, data is such an important part of the game. Do you feel like being in that sort of academic environment gives you a little bit of an edge in terms of knowing how to understand and apply some of the things you're seeing in those TrackMan systems and things like that? Do you think that gives you an edge to kind of wrap your head around that a little bit easier?
I don't know if necessarily the school or the course load at MIT makes that easier. I think being surrounded by like-minded individuals when it comes to how we view data and how we want to use it in our game and optimize what we do best with that data helped. I had a buddy there that worked at Driveline for a little bit, kind of helped build their Stuff Plus model.
Oh, okay.
So I would talk to him about, hey, this is something I do well, would it be better to try to boost something else? And he knows, because he worked on the Stuff Plus model and stuff, what plays at the big league level and what helps. So that was definitely a cool experience, just being able to talk to like-minded individuals. I didn't really take any classes or anything that that pertain to the data and stuff, but like, just generally how I think and research I've done on my own has been a big help.
Yeah. And do you think that some of the data and the feedback you're getting from those systems, can you sort of, like, when you're on the mound, for example, can you feel like the data is backing up what you're feeling on the mound, or is it sometimes like two extremes where you're like, well, I didn't think that it was like that?
So in bullpens and such, I'm pretty data focused. I'm focused on, like, my fastball is kind of dead zone right now. I need to adjust my grip, or my changeup isn't moving well, or this or that. But when I get in the game, I'm there to compete. I'm there to be better than the other team, and that's my sole focus when I'm on the mound. Is because, like, my IVB is not going to help me beat a guy in the middle of a game. Like,
right.
That's my focus is to hit my spots and do my job there.
Yeah. Now, being out there for the bullpen, today you look great out there. Do you get as amped up for situations like this, even though it's not a competitive game environment, or is it kind of a little bit different headspace?
So I was talking with somebody about this earlier. It's hard. I definitely had a good amount of adrenaline on the mound, just because of the environment and everything. But like, I have a hard time when I don't have an enemy. I don't have somebody to kind of fuel off of. I pitch the best whenever I have teams, talking bad about me, like chirping me and giving me crap while I'm on the mound. So like, having an enemy helps, and I didn't really have that here. Everybody's been super kind to me. Maybe if I had a couple of guys that would shit talk me, that would help.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any of that. Everybody's been super nice.
Yeah. Well, hey, at Major League Baseball, if you're watching, improvement for the next combine, add some hecklers behind the home plate. Maybe that'll help the pitching environment get a little amped up. So who are some of the players that you have modeled your game after, in particular pitchers that you enjoy watching and you try to emulate yourself?
It's hard to do that. It's hard to find somebody that's similar enough to you to model your game after them. I've had some things that I model after Spencer Strider. He's a little bit of a lower release height, higher IVB guy. I'm a little bit lower release height than him, a little bit less IVB than him, but I still try to play off of the vertical approach angle on my fastball. But like, I don't think he's a supinator. I supinate very well. I have trouble getting good efficiency on my fastball. I think he's typically 99 to 100% efficiency. I'm in the 75-80% efficiency. So I have to play off of my own strengths, playing off of being able to throw two breaking balls that move the same direction but at different velos and different amounts, and then having to rely on seam shifted wake for my changeup instead of being able to actually get around it and pronate it and things like that. Like, things that are kind of unique to me that I've had to focus on myself. But I see things that work well at the big league level, and I notice patterns, and I do emulate that whenever it lines up with my own strengths.
Right. Now, so much of this process is obviously focused on what you can do on the mound, on the field, but a big element is also, getting to know teams, getting to know, their front office, their player development people. What are some of the, passions that you have away from the game to kind of, showcase who you are as a person?
I like to hunt and fish. I like to be outside. Just, it's peaceful to me. I enjoy the adrenaline rush of shooting an animal or catching a fish. I guess something primal there that I enjoy. I spend a lot of time with my girlfriend. I enjoy spending time with her, spending time with my brothers, just going and hanging out. I like to shoot guns, things like that.
Yeah.
I've grown up in Louisiana, so kind of been around that stuff my whole life, and it's kind of shaped me.
Right. Now, is there anything that you advice you'd give yourself, as a younger player that you've learned through this process that you think would have been helpful to know, like at an earlier age, or anything that you didn't expect and that kind of thing?
I think the only thing I'd say is, like, you're good enough, like, chase the dream. Because I didn't always have that confidence. I kind of, I'd look at things statistically and be like, oh, there's this many players that are definitely way better than me, so what's even the point? But, sometimes you bloom a little late, or sometimes you develop later mentally and are able to focus better and figure out what you need to improve, and, it happens at a different time for everybody. So, I think I'm exactly where I belong. I think I'm right where I should be, but and I wouldn't change anything. But I tell myself, like, have that confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big part of it. Now you're currently committed to Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
How was that recruitment process like for you? What appealed to you about their program? Obviously, they've had a ton of success in recent years. What kind of things were you looking for in terms of which program you felt like was going to be the best fit for you?
Yeah. So first of all, like I want to go be a winner. I don't want to go play for a team that doesn't want to win or doesn't really have a chance to win. Tennessee does a very good job of teaching players how to win. I wanted a team that's going to have my back. Coach Tony is a very fiery guy and kind of gets a bad rep at times for playing with a lot of passion, but you can see in his players that his players run through a wall with him for him. And then like that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody who's going to have my back and like who I want to go play for. I want to go step out on the field and I want to go to war for. So looking for that. The recruitment process happened very fast. I wanted to make sure I retain the ability to go back to MIT whenever I'm done playing baseball because, I want to have a career in baseball, but sometimes there's things out of your control you can't do, and I know that, and I want to make sure I have the ability to go get a degree because it's an amazing opportunity and it's an awesome school. So with that, kind of the program I'm doing with MIT is I'm doing a domestic study away at Tennessee. So I do not think I'm unenrolling from MIT. It's a similar process to doing like a study abroad.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to study at Tennessee. I'm not really expecting any of my credits to transfer back to MIT, but I framed it as it's something that's going to possibly help my professional career in baseball, and it's a unique experience. And MIT is very big on unique experiences, so they've been very good about helping me be able to come back. But with that, I had to have the school I was going to picked out much earlier. I had my application where they asked the school like April 15th, I think is when it was due, somewhere around there. But they allowed me to kind of push that due date back and tell them what school I was choosing later. They were very kind about that. But it was kind of a fast recruitment process because I had to know what school I was going to. I think by May 7th.
Okay.
Or so
Okay.
it's definitely quick.
Yeah. Well, hey, studying abroad in Knoxville, Tennessee, I didn't know you could do it, but you might be the
yeah,
first.
It's interesting.
You might be the first.
It's awesome.
So I'll leave you with this last question. If you could strike out one guy at the major league level today, or today or tomorrow, who's that guy?
Probably Ohtani. That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty generic.
He doesn't do it very often, so
that'd
that
be
would
pretty
be
sick.
Yeah. That'd be a good thing to put on the resume. Well, Mason, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining us here at the Combine, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it. Thank you.